I'm the one that's loving on him, reaching out to him, and there's people that are going to be that for you. Whether you become famous like a Wayne Dyer or not, there's individual people that you're the one that's called to help them. You're the one that's there to encourage them. Here's this gentleman who had this major injury with this stroke, and I'm giving some encouragement. It's making a difference for him. Thank God I reached out to him yesterday. Many people never make money or very little money with their speaking and coaching. So if any of you are on here, you're like, Eric, I'm not making any money doing this, or I'm making very little money doing this, you're not alone. And my message to you today is it doesn't need to be that way. Why do people not make money in speaking and coaching? Here's the main point of this class. It has to do with where their focus is. So let's say I have a client and they're a coach or a speaker or both, and they haven't made any money this year so far. Okay, what was your goal for revenue generated in March? I didn't have one. Okay, well, what were you doing in March? I was fill in the blank. I was working on the website. I was attending classes. I was writing the book. I was putting the speech together. I was putting the slide deck together. I was getting ready to get ready. And getting ready to get ready, how much money does that make? Just type it in the chat. Like, what would you guess? Getting ready to get ready makes how much? Sue got it. That would be 0. Getting ready to get ready does not make any money. So hear this. This could be one of the 10 best ideas of the class. Is you can learn like you're learning right now. You're getting ready right now. You're here. Okay. You can learn and be in action. You can learn and be in action. Doria Cordova, one of my mentors, she said, Eric, it's very simple. Find somebody who's hungry and put a sandwich in their mouth. See, you don't have to be certified to help a human being. You don't have to have a slide deck to give a speech. So here is how simple it is. Find somebody who needs to be coached and coach them. Find an audience that can benefit from your message and offer to be a speaker. Really simple. And then you need a business strategy on how to monetize. And if you want to monetize, which you do because you're here, you've got to make offers. Okay, that's one of your 10 best ideas of this class, in my opinion. Make more offers. In the last 30 days, I have put out hundreds of thousands of dollars in offers. And I will continue to put out offers. I'm going to make you an offer today. I'm looking for people that would like mentorship. I'm looking for people that would like me to personally work with you and guide you. And I got an offer. It's going to blow you away. If you're looking for mentorship, then you're in the right place. Because the support that I'm going to provide you, it's layers of support, including one-on-one with me. It's not just with me, though. It's layers of support. How many of you realize you need to be making more offers? Just type yes to the chat. If you're like, yeah, Eric, I need to make more offers. And if you haven't made any offers in the last 30 days, just notice that. It's not a criticism. Okay, so more offers. We've got Sue, Vanya, Todd, Mike, Jim. Is there anybody else on this call right now that goes, you know what, I need to make more offers? Katrina, Bill, Christine. Look, you want to create revenue now, right? When I was divorced. I'm remarried. I've been with my wife now. It'll be 10 years, or 10-year anniversary coming up this December. All right? Because when my first marriage ended, I wanted to get my happily ever after. So it's like, okay, what does that actually look like? Like, Eric, how do you actually go out and find a human being that is interested in marriage? Like, how do you go about doing that? You got to go on a bunch of dates. That's how. And then I eventually found my wife. And she wasn't the first woman that I dated, nor did I expect it to be the first woman that I dated. But if you think about it logically, if you want coaching clients, you've got to have one-on-one conversations with people to convey how you can help them. Okay? When we're done this afternoon, I have, I'm talking to Sarah and Taniver. I have 2 one-on-one conversations today. These are people that I've started a sales process with for coaching, right? And what will happen at the end of these calls today is I will say to them, would you like me to send you a proposal? There's different ways of closing for coaching. One way is to send a coaching proposal. And so I will, at the end of the call, I'll ask them, would you like me to send you a proposal? And if they say yes, then I'll send a proposal, and then they'll make a decision, yes or no. So at my level, I've been doing this for decades, generated millions of dollars in revenue. And what am I doing? The fundamentals. Create revenue now. I had to prospect those individuals. I had to do marketing. Okay? Part of this is a business, right? It's not just helping human beings, right? Because like right now, you're in a Zoom meeting. So I had to have the technological know-how of how do you set up the Zoom and how do you deliver the Zoom and how do you build a slide deck and how do you have the technology and how do you get the opt-in and how do you do the CRM and having the money to pay for the admin to help me with all this. And there's a lot of business pieces to this. And so creating revenue, like this is my contribution to speakers and coaches in this world. There's all kinds of speaker training out there and coach training. My contribution is let's drive the revenue so you can go out there and do what you're here to do. So this is my client, Stephen. So Stephen wrote this book and I saw him speak. I met him a couple different times and we were running in similar circles. And I saw him speak, and I was like, this guy's amazing. This guy he's uber talented, just like you. And I found out that he was making very little money. And he was frustrated with how little money he was making because he knew how good he is. Like this guy's a stud. He is good. He wrote this book. He's a speaker. He could keynote your company conference and knock it out of the park. He's that good. Wasn't making hardly any money. So we did multiple discovery calls. And I was just loving on him. And then after we did the discovery, I'm like, okay, I've got an offer for you. It was an offer that was over 50 grand for me to coach him. So I have to believe in myself to make an offer of over 50 grand just to talk to me, right? I have to believe in myself and I can't be in doubt. Doubt doesn't cause a $50,000 proposal. I have to believe I'm called to help this human being, that I believe I can help him. And so we started coaching. In the last 3 months, he brought in over 80,000 in revenue. And part of it was he had a business model that was not working. So I helped him re-engineer the business model. Stephen, I predict, will have a year where he will generate over $1 million in coaching revenue in a single year. And I will be the catalyst of that. As far as he started his own company, he got going and all that, but he wasn't making any money until I got in the picture. Why? Because I was talking to him like talking to you right now. You know, in coaching world, you hear the word funnel a lot. Funnel. Okay. That's not how I got Stephen making money. You hear, and we're going to talk about content creation and, Opus Clips, which is, video software. We're going to talk about that today. But short form video content is not what drives money. It's not what makes the money. It's there. It's valuable. I teach people how to write books. Writing books is not what makes money, in my opinion. What makes money is the things that create revenue now. What is going to drive the revenue? And you've got to believe in yourself. You got to really lean into that calling from God and say, okay, if God called me to do this, that's good enough for me. Now I got to go shout from the rooftops. Like, let's say you're called to help people with dyslexia. Or let's say you're called to help people that are disabled. One of my clients, that is his calling. Another one of my clients she's called to help people that have dyslexia. Right? That was a calling put on their heart. So what do I want my client who helps people that are disabled? I want him shouting from the rooftops. I don't want him in doubt. Bro, God called you to help the disabled people. Is it really me? Yes, it's really you. I was called to help people to sell, to drive revenue. And then I got called to help speakers and coaches. And then I got to help people with books. And then I got called to help people with being. And I'm answering that call as boldly and as powerfully as I possibly can. Stephen is on his way to living his dream business. That could be you. Where did I learn to create revenue now? Well, some different ways. I've been selling for 30 years. The core products that I've sold, even before I started my current company, with Dante Perano, I was selling real estate courses. With Tony Robbins, I was selling Tony Robbins courses. So the bulk of what I've sold in my career, coaching, consulting, books, and home study courses. I've invested $300,000 to train with brilliant mentors, amongst the best on the planet at teaching business skills. I have 25 plus years of working with people like you, providing mentorship and coaching. I've delivered over 10,000 speeches when you added my podcasts, my Zooms, and my front of the room speeches. I've generated over $10 million in revenue selling consulting services. So this is Dante, my first mentor. And when I worked for Dante, I was doing phone sales. And this was the job. Put 10,000 in sales on the board or more every month. That was the job. So I'd come in, the training sucked there.